Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2 Unit 7 Review B. Remember to show all your work and circle your answers. Alright, number 1. Number 1 says to find the dimensions of the prism if its volume is 160 inches cubed. So, I don't really have a lot of room to work here, so I'm going to do this on a separate sheet of paper. Alright, I know that volume equals length times width times height. So if our volume is 160, we have to multiply the three sides, the x minus 1 and the x plus 3. And the nice thing about multiplication is you can do this in any order that you want to. This is what I'm going to multiply first. Okay, everything right here. So that 5, I'm just going to, the 160 and the 5, I'm just going to keep that there. And we're going to distribute. We get x squared. X times 3 is 3x. Negative 1 times x is negative 1x. And negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. Okay? Now, before I start distributing again, I'm going to combine my like terms. And we get x squared plus 2x minus 3. Okay? Now, the next thing we got to do is we got that 5 on the outside. Okay? And we need to distribute that to everything. So multiply everything by 5, and we get 5x squared plus 10x minus 15. Okay? So we want everything equal to 0 when we're solving, which means I have to subtract the 160 to each side, and I get that 0 equals 5x squared plus 10x minus 175. And guys, we're not done yet. You're like, oh, come on, Mr. Grice. No, we're not. Okay. Now, to solve this, we got to take out the GCF, which is a 5. Okay. The GCF comes out front, and then we're left with x squared plus 2x. 175 divided by 5 is 35. And here's where the solving part comes into play. Okay. We need to think of what numbers multiply to get to negative 35 and add to get to 2. What do you think? Did you get it? You should have gotten negative 5 and 7. Okay. What we can do now is we can split it up to x minus 5 and x plus 7. And we're going to set each one of those equal to 0. So x minus 5 equals 0 and x plus 7 equal to 0. When you solve those, we get two answers of x equals 5 and x equals negative 7. Now, we're going to go back to our sheet and think about this. If we plug in a negative 7, negative 7 minus 1 would be a negative 8. And can I have a side that's negative 8 centimeters? No, we can't have that at all. So I know that the negative 7 is not an answer. So our answer is 5. But we have to come back in here and do 5 minus 1 and 5 plus 3 to get our sides. And we get that our sides are 5. Oh, we'll put these in order from least to greatest. 4 centimeters, 5 centimeters, and 8 centimeters. And that's our final answer. Okay? All right, number 2. Find the side lengths of the triangle. So this is talking about the Pythagorean theorem, the a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So a and b don't really matter. The one that really matters is c, and c is always across from the hypotenuse. Okay? So once again, I'm going to set this up on a separate sheet of paper because it's going to take a little bit of work to do. That we have a squared. I just called that the x, so we have x squared plus x minus 7 squared equaling the x plus 1 squared. Okay? Now, when we have things in parentheses, that means that that's x times x. That's our first one. Plus x minus 7 squared, we have to write that twice. X minus 7 times x minus 7. And that's going to equal x plus 1 times x plus 1. Woo! Man, I hope you guys remember how to distribute, because we're going to be doing a lot of that. Okay? Yellow's easy. X times x, x squared. Now, I'm going to write this down a row. Okay? Now, when we distribute, we get x squared minus 7x plus 49. And we need to combine our like terms. And when we combine our like terms, we get x squared minus 14x plus 49. So there's a step in between that, and we learned the shortcut how to do that really fast. Okay, but I'm not going to do it here. All right, and then we're going to distribute here. You guys should know how to distribute. X squared plus 1x plus 1x. 1 times 1 is 1. Combine our like terms. And then we get x squared plus 2x plus 1. Now, is there anything that's the same on the left side that we can combine? Hopefully you're saying, Mr. Grice, we got 2x's. Okay, so that's 2x squared minus 14x plus 49 equals x squared plus 2x plus 1. Okay, now, before we do anything else, we have to get it set equal to 0. So, looking at our quadratic terms, because those are our leading coefficients, which one's smaller? Yeah, the x squared is smaller, so I'm going to move that to the other side. I'm going to move my 2x to the other side, and the 1 to the other side. So everything on the right cancels out, and we're left with 0, which is what we want. 2x squared minus x squared is x squared minus 16x plus 48. Almost done. Okay? To factor this, I want to know what numbers multiply to get to 48 and add to get to negative 16. I'm actually going to move this to the other side because I'm also going to write down all the factors of 48. Just because there are a lot, and I want to make sure I get the right pair. We have 1 and 48, 2 and 24, 3 and 16, 4 and 12, 6 and 8. So what is it? 4 and 12, guys. It's negative 4 and negative 12. That's the one that works in both scenarios. So we get x minus 4, x minus 12 equaling 0. And then x minus 4 equals 0, x minus 12 equals 0. So our answers are 4 and 12. Okay, so which one is it going to be? Is it going to be 4 or is it going to be 12? Well, if we plug in the 4, we get 4, 5, and negative 3. Can we have a negative 3 side length? Nope. So that means it has to be 12. So I'm going to come over here and cross out my 4 so I know that that wasn't it. And it's 12. Okay. 12 minus 7 is 5, and then 12 plus 1 is 13. So our answers for this would be, our side lengths are 5 units, 12 units, and 13 units. And those are the 3 sides of that triangle. Okay? All right. 3. A rocket was launched from a platform. The height of the object from the ground in feet t seconds after its launch is given by this beautiful equation. What was the initial height of the rocket? Okay, so remember, we always think about h and t. So they said, what's the initial height? That means we're looking for the height and we know the time. Well, the initial height is before anything ever started, so that means that time is 0. And when we plug in, we're going to plug in 0 to the equation. Okay, why don't you guys go ahead and try that and see what you get. Some of you guys kind of already know that, well, we can't, if you're multiplying by 0, you just get 0. So h of 0 is 160, and we're talking about 160 feet. Okay, next one. How long does it take for the rocket to hit the ground? So how long, that's asking about time, which means that we know what the ground is, or the height. So if it's hitting the ground, our height is 0, okay? So 0 equals negative 16t squared plus 48t plus 160. Okay? We can do this. So remember, always ask yourself, is there a GCF? Make sure it's the greatest common factor, guys. Okay, it's a negative 16 that you can factor out of here. Okay, so that negative 16 comes out front, and we're left with t squared minus 3t minus 10. Okay, so are there numbers that multiply to get to negative 10 and add to get to negative 3? Mm-hmm. 2 and 5, but which one's negative? Good, the 5 is negative. So we can do our shortcut. So we get t plus 2, t minus 5. And when we set each one of those equal to 0, we get t equals negative 2 and t equals 5. Can I have negative 2? No, we can't have, guys, we're talking about time. You can't have negative time. So our answer, it's going to take 5 seconds. And to make sure, to circle your answer. So let's go back up. How long does it take for the object to reach a height of 192 feet? So once again, it's telling us that the height is 192 and we're trying to find the time. So we have 192 equals negative 16t squared plus 48t plus 160. So when we're solving, we want it set equal to 0, which means you have to set it equal to 0. Because we want that's going to be 0, and then we're left with negative 16t squared plus 48t minus 32. Okay? We've factored a bunch of these already, guys. I'm going to stop right here. You guys are going to pause the video. and you're going to solve this on your own. Okay? Good luck. Okay, so should have factored out the negative 16 because that's the GCF. And the numbers that multiply to 2 and add to negative 3, yeah, it's negative 1 and negative 2. Okay? And since both of those are positives, yeah, we can have positive answers, 2 positive answers, because we're talking about when a rocket, I'm going to draw really bad, but here's my rocket, and it's going to, if it's going to launch, there's going to be 2 times that I hit 192 feet on the way up and on the way down. Okay? So our answer is 1 and 2 seconds. Okay. All right. Now, these ones are just asking us to factor. Okay? Not solve. There's no equal sign, so you don't have to worry about that. We're just looking to see what do they have in common. Okay? So what's the highest that 6, 27, and 15 all have in common? Well, that's a 3. And I see that they all have k's, and the lowest variable is a 4. So that means 3k to the 4th is my GCF. That doesn't disappear. And then we divide everything else out. So we get 2k, and we're subtracting, minus 9k, plus 5. Okay, and the next step would be, well, are there any numbers that multiply to get to 10 and add to get to negative 9? No. I know you guys might think, oh, Mr. Grice, 1 and 10, 1 and 10, and that's negative. Well, good, if that's negative here, it doesn't work up there. Okay, and it's got to work for both situations. So that's why this is our final answer. All right, number 5. Don't make the mistake, draw this down and start taking out the GCF right away, because you can take a GCF out of everything from the very beginning. Okay, they're all even numbers. Okay, GCF is 2, and then we're left with 10xy plus 5y minus 8x minus 4. Okay, and now, guys, now we can draw the line, excuse me, and take the GCF out of the first group, which is, yeah, 5y. The 5y comes out front, and we're left with 2x plus 1. And the GCF at the back, my leading coefficient's negative, so my GCF's going to be negative, and it's negative 4. And then we get 2x plus 1, which is perfect because those match, which means 2x plus 1 is part of my answer. The 5y minus 4 is part of my answer. That's what we wrote down in blue. And then guess what? This time I didn't forget. We have to bring down that GCF. Okay? All right. Number 6. Always ask yourself, is there a GCF? No, there's no GCF, okay? So we have to multiply 5 times 8, which is 40. It's a negative 40. So numbers that multiply to negative 40 and add to get to 18. You guys know it? Ugh, me either. I'm being serious. So 1 and 40, 2 and 20, 4 and 10, and then 5 and 8. Ooh, I think I see it now. Do you? Yeah, 2 and 20. Which one's negative? Yeah, the negative 2. Okay, so we got to split that middle term. So we got 5m squared minus 2m plus 20m minus 8. Okay? Why don't you guys take it from here? Okay? Go ahead and pause the video, and good luck. Okay, and once you're done, you should have gotten 5m minus 2 and m plus 4. All right, number 7. Don't get all scared because there are multiple variables in it, okay? You always check to see if there's a GCF. In this case, there's not. And then we're thinking about numbers that multiply to get to 20 and add to get to 9. That's what you should know is 4 times 5, okay? Now, you can split the middle term if you want to, but you really don't have to in this one, okay? So, we know that this is x, and then one of these is going to be a 5, and one of them is going to be a 4. They're both positive, but since this last guy's a y squared, it means that they have to be y. And that's it, guys. It's all that is figuring out the pattern, okay? Like in number 8. You guys might be like, well, Mr. Grice, those are perfect squares, and I can just square root everything. You can, but you're just going to make more work for yourself because you didn't follow the first rule, which is take out the GCF. Okay, I can take out a 16 out of both of those, and they both have k's. Okay, and the smallest one is k squared. So we take out that 16k squared, and then we're left with k squared minus what? Oh, 4. Okay, and then I can take the square root of both of those. And so that 16k squared comes out front, and then we're left with k plus 2 and k minus 2. All right, number 9. Always ask yourself, is there a GCF? No. Well, what's going on here? It's to the 3rd power. Yuck. Okay, well, guess what? That means it's going to follow our cube pattern, okay? Where it's plus, minus, plus. And right here is our a, then it's our b, a squared times ab plus b squared, okay? And we take the cubed root of both of these, okay? The cubed root of 27 is 3w. Cubed root of the 8 is 2, and then the cubed root of x cubed is x, which is nice. So our first one is just the 3w plus 2x, okay? And then a squared is 3w times 3w, which is, well, 3 times 3 is 9w squared. AB is 3w times 2x, which gives us 6wx. And the last one, b squared, 2x times 2x. Well, 2 times 2 is 4. X times x is x squared. And there we go. That's our answer. All we did was follow the pattern. Okay, well, since this video is getting a little long, I'm going to stop it right here, and the back page will be its own video. Okay, so this is Mr. Grice signing off for Algebra 2, Unit 7 Review B, Video 1, Side 1. Thanks for watching.